If you don't learn how to stay calm, life will keep pushing you around. Most people are not broken. They're just tired. Tired of thinking too much, reacting too fast, and feeling like they're always behind. You try to stay positive, but people test your patience. You try to stay calm, but problems keep stacking up. That's real life. And nobody teaches you how to deal with it without losing your mind. But here's the truth. Calm is something you train. Positivity is something you build. You don't need a perfect life, you need better tools. In this video, you're going to learn how to stop the overthinking, protect your energy, handle stress without breaking down, and finally take control of how you feel. No fake motivation, just real steps that work in the real world. If you're tired of losing your peace over things that don't deserve it, this video is for you. It's time to take your mind back. Chapter 1. Pause before reacting so you don't regret it later. You know, staying calm and positive in life doesn't come from luck. It comes from a decision. A clear decision to not let everything around you control what goes on inside you. And one of the most important decisions you'll ever make is this. Pause before you react, because how you respond to anything can either build your future or ruin your peace. Every day, you're going to be tested. You'll face people who don't treat you right. You'll hear things you don't want to hear. Plans will fall apart. Something small will go wrong and it'll try to ruin your whole day. That's real life. But here's the key. You don't have to react to everything immediately. You don't have to give every situation your emotions. Most of the time, if you just pause, even for a few seconds, you stop yourself from saying something you didn't mean. You stop yourself from making the problem worse. You stop yourself from being someone you don't want to be. And that pause, it's not weakness, it's not giving up, it's strength, it's leadership, it's self-control, and in life you need to lead yourself first before anything else works. When someone disrespects you, your first reaction might be anger. You want to shout back, you want to prove your point, you want to protect your pride. But if you react too fast, you lose control. And when you lose control, they win. Not because they're smarter, not because they're stronger, but because you gave them the power to affect your emotions. That's a cost you can't afford. Regret always shows up when you move too fast. You say something you wish you didn't say. You send a message you wish you never typed. You break a connection that could have been fixed. And then you sit with it. You feel it, you carry it around for days or even weeks, all because you didn't pause. I've learned this. Peace doesn't come from a perfect life. It comes from learning to pause, to think, to respond with purpose instead of reacting with emotion. You've got to train that. You've got to practice it. Every time something tries to set you off, treat it like a test. Ask yourself, do I need to respond to this right now? Will this matter tomorrow? Will this matter next week? Most of the things that upset us in the moment aren't even worth 5 minutes of our time. But if we react too quickly, we give them 5 hours, 5 days, sometimes 5 years of our energy. That's how small problems steal big parts of our life. So what do you do instead? You breathe. You stay still for a moment. You let the feeling rise, and you let it pass without grabbing onto it. You don't avoid the feeling, you just don't serve it. You don't act on it. You let your awareness grow. Because when you pause, you see the situation clearly, you realize it's not as urgent as it felt. And now your response is coming from strength, not from panic. You know what happens when you start living this way? People notice. They see that you don't get easily shaken. You don't argue over everything. You don't let little things ruin your day. And eventually they start respecting you more, not because you're louder, not because you're tougher, but because you're in control of yourself. That's real power. There are people who walk through life like ticking time bombs. Every little thing sets them off. They lose their temper, they break things, they break trust. They live in a cycle of stress, apology, and regret. And they wonder why they're not happy, why their relationships feel unstable, why no one listens when they speak. It's because they never learned to pause. I want you to be different. I want you to build a life that's calm on the inside, no matter what's going on outside. And that starts with awareness. That starts with catching yourself right in the moment, when your heart beats faster, when your jaw tightens, when you feel that heat rising in your chest. And instead of going into reaction, you breathe. You ask yourself, do I want to feel this way, or is there a better way to respond? That's what mentally strong people do. They don't need to control the outside world to be okay. They control what they allow in. They don't react to every insult. They don't argue over every detail. They protect their focus. They protect their emotional state like it's their most valuable asset, because it is. The truth is, calm people aren't born. They're built. They're built through practice, through setbacks, through choosing a different path when anger feels easier. It's not natural at first, but the more you pause, the more you'll start to feel powerful in moments where you used to feel helpless. That's when you know you're changing. And positivity? That's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about knowing you'll be okay even when things aren't. It's not fake smiles or forced happiness. It's a deep belief that no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it. You can face it without breaking down. And that belief comes from mastering your response, from choosing calm over chaos, from choosing clarity over emotional noise. When you make that a habit, pausing before reacting, you start seeing everything differently. You don't take things so personally. You understand that most people act from their own stress, not from who you are. You stop absorbing their energy. You stop taking responsibility for their anger. You stay rooted in who you want to be. The longer you practice this, the stronger you get. And soon, you're not just avoiding regret, you're creating space for better decisions. You're having better conversations. You're saving your energy for things that actually matter. You're living with more peace, more clarity, and more purpose. So if you're serious about staying calm and positive in life, you've got to start here, right here, with your reaction. Master this one habit, and everything else begins to change. You'll sleep better. You'll think better. You'll treat others better. And most of all, you'll feel better, because you'll be in control of your day, not at the mercy of it. When something upsets you today, and it will, I want you to remember this. You don't owe anyone your reaction. You don't owe the moment your peace. You owe yourself a better outcome. And that better outcome starts with one thing: the pause. Train it like a skill. Build it like a habit, strengthen it like a muscle. Because the people who pause before they react, those are the people who stay calm, stay positive, and win long term. Not by chance, not by pretending, but by choosing better every single time. Chapter 2. Fix your sleep if your mind feels unstable daily. If your mind feels unstable every day, the first thing you need to look at is your sleep. Not your goals, not your work, not your motivation, but your sleep. Because when your sleep is broken, your mind becomes scattered. You can't think clearly. You get irritated easily. You start doubting yourself for no reason. You feel anxious, confused, overwhelmed, and none of it makes sense, because nothing is really wrong, but it feels wrong. And that feeling comes from one simple truth: your body and brain are tired. You can't expect your mind to stay strong when your system is running on empty. Your patience breaks faster, your reactions become sharper, you snap at people you love, you lose focus even during simple conversations. And the most dangerous part is, you start believing that something is wrong with you. You think it's a mental problem, you think you're weak, but the truth is, your brain is just not getting enough rest to do its job well. Most people underestimate how much sleep shapes their life. They try to fix everything else while ignoring the one habit that affects their mind the most. You can't stay calm if your brain is on survival mode. You can't think positively if your body is begging for rest. Your system becomes overly sensitive, and even small problems feel like heavy burdens. That's not a mindset issue. That's a recovery issue. Sleep isn't just about feeling less tired. It's about resetting your emotional system. It's about giving your mind the space it needs to repair itself. When you're well rested, you don't just have more energy, you have more control. You respond better, you speak better, you think better. You stop overreacting to small things. You stop second-guessing your every move. You start trusting yourself again, because your brain is finally working the way it's supposed to. People chase peace through books, therapy, breathing, and motivation. All of that can help, but if your sleep is broken, nothing else will work the way it should. You're building on a weak foundation, and eventually everything will fall apart again, no matter how much effort you put in. You must fix the root. So how do you fix it? First, stop treating sleep like it's optional. It's not extra, it's essential. You can't sacrifice sleep for success. You can't stay up every night thinking you're gaining an edge. What you're really doing is lowering your ability to make good decisions. You're burning out your focus. You're weakening your discipline. You might be awake longer, but you're doing things with half the power you could have if you slept well. Second, create a routine. Don't wait until you feel tired. Set a bedtime and honor it, the way you would honor an important meeting. You don't miss it, you don't delay it, you prepare for it. You wind down, you shut off distractions. You don't go from a chaotic day straight into sleep. Your brain needs time to switch modes. It needs calm, it needs silence. If you're scrolling on your phone or watching intense content,